Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of WMSE's Local Live. My name is Cal, this is Sid. We are broadcasting tonight from Anodyne on Bruce and Walker's Point. Shout out to our in-house audience, as you can hear, as you can see. Give yourselves a round of applause. Packed house here tonight. There's still room for it if you want to make it down here. Standing room only, it looks like. Tonight's show is also being live streamed. You can watch along at WMSE.org as well as our Facebook page and our YouTube channel.
Local Live is presented by Third Space Brewing. You have your home, you have your work, but everyone needs a third space. Now, please give a warm welcome to our musical guest for tonight, Buffalo Nichols.
I could remember, I've been wandering on my own, looking lost and lonesome since I left my mother's home. Since I could remember, I've been wandering on my own, looking lost and lonesome since I left my mother's home. Lost and lonesome since I left my mother's home. You may say I got no friends, but who can you really put your faith in the end? It's hard to trust someone when loyalty is just a word that slips off of your tongue. Loyalty is just a word and it slips off of your tongue. And I had to ask the question, how you learn to love like that? She tried to answer as she pulled the knife out of her bag. And when I asked the question, how you learn to love again, you're gonna suffer anyway, but it's better with a friend. You're gonna suffer anyway, ain't it better with a friend? Sometimes I see an old friend, and we will talk about the places that we've been. But then we go our separate ways, lost and lonesome to the end of our days. Lost and lonesome to the end of our days. Thank you.
Buffalo Nichols on WMSE's Local Live. Welcome, Carl, to our airwaves once again.
Great to be back. Thank you.
I want to remind everybody out in the audience there's cards on your table. If you happen to have any burning questions to ask Carl, go ahead and write them down, bring them up, and we'll squeeze in what we can. I'm going to start out by asking you, because I don't think we've had an artist on our show before that's signed to Fat Possum Records. So how did that happen? How did you first get drawn to them?
I made a really good music, and then they wanted it. But I had known R.L. Burnside's music mainly. That was my first introduction to them.
Okay.
But yeah, there's not a whole lot of, well, yes, that's what I'm going to say.
Did you have a lot of labels fighting over you at that time, or what was the process like?
Yeah, there were a few labels that I met with, and
Yeah, that's right. Give it up for record labels. But yeah, I went with Fat Possum. I felt like they were interested in maintaining some kind of honesty in blues music. So we agreed on that.
Cool. I read that you wrote upwards of 50 songs for that initial your debut album, and then whittled it down to 8 songs.
Yes.
So what happened to all those other songs? Are they still floating out there? Like, are you playing them regularly? Is there another album in the works?
Yeah, they're out there, and I play them from time to time. 2 songs that I released in November, Meet Me in the Bottom and Friends, was 2 of those songs. But I'm always writing, so I have amassed a lot of songs over my life, so I just let them die and move on.
All right. There's a lifespan to every song, I guess.
Yeah.
How do you know what song's gonna work and what's not? I mean, like, do you go back to them, or you just let them die? Like, what's the magic that makes you decide that it's gonna be on an album, or you're gonna keep it to work on again later, or?
It just depends on how I feel. If I believe in a song enough, I'll play it just because I enjoy it. Sometimes you don't know what people are gonna think until you play it for a while, and yeah, it's different every time.
Fair enough.
So you live in Austin now, right?
I don't know.
What was it that drew you there initially?
I was just trying to make a living. I wouldn't have gone to Texas if I had another choice.
Oh.
But Austin isn't like the rest of Texas, right? That's what I've heard.
That's what they say. But I spent most of my adult life making a living off of performing music, and I couldn't do that here, so I went and did it there, and now you can do it here again. So here I am again.
So far, so good, right?
Yeah, all right.
So besides being like obviously more in a national spotlight, Austin, with the music festivals and everything, how else would you describe the music scene as far as like being different from Milwaukee?
I couldn't tell you, honestly. I didn't leave my house for like 2 years.
Good point, good point.
But, the main difference is obviously that Austin is kind of like a mini industry town, so there's all the connections that you need to have a emerging music scene, or artists and record labels and managers and all these things. That's the main difference. But the main thing I've learned in the last 10 years of touring is that every city has good music. It's just a matter of how much people are willing to support it.
Makes sense?
It does make sense.
I'm all about sense.
Well, how much time do you actually spend in Austin? Because I feel like you've been touring nonstop.
I usually don't like to broadcast my location unless I have to. There you go. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Well, why don't we have a couple more songs if you're ready?
I am.
All right, a couple more from Buffalo Nichols here on WMSE's Local Live.
That was a song I wrote called Lost and Lonesome. This is a Skip James song called Sick Bed Blues.
I'm laying sick, honey, on my bed. I'm laying sick, honey, on my bed. I'm laying sick, honey, on my bed. You know, I used to have a few friends, but they wish that I were dead. In awful pain and deep in misery. In awful pain, deep in misery. In awful pain, deep in misery. Ain't got no one to come and see about me. The doctor came looking very sad. The doctor came looking very sad. The doctor came looking very sad. He diagnosed my case and said it was awful bad. He walked away mumbling very low. He walked away mumbling very low. He walked away mumbling very low. Said he may get some better, but he won't get well no more. And every dog, baby, got a day. Oh, every dog, baby, got a day. Oh, every dog, baby, got a day. But I say, please, don't you treat me this way. I've got a long trip, I'm just too weak to ride. I've got a long trip, I'm just too weak to ride. I've got a long trip, I'm just too weak to ride. And now there's 1,000 people here standing at my bedside. Cry no more. Oh no, I ain't gonna cry no more. Oh no, I ain't gonna cry no more. Because down this road every traveler's got to go. I'm laying sick, honey, on my bed. I'm laying sick, honey, on my bed. I'm laying sick, honey, on my bed. You know, I used to have a few friends, but they wish that I were dead.
Thank you. I'm gonna play another song from my album here. The song is called These Things. They say as a songwriter you don't want to be too specific, so I felt like a song about things. That's pretty good as far as general topics go. You may not have heard that on the radio, but that just got raucous laughter and everybody loved it.
Place to hide, I'd tell you the sweetest lies. But when we won't get out alive, I tell you that we'll be okay. If I could be your mercy seat, where your secrets come to sleep, and not the reason that you weep, I wouldn't be alone. With my heart in my throat and my stomach on the floor, I'm beaten and I'm broken. I'm coming back for more, and I miss chase you like an eagle with a broken wing. This is the skies above. We would watch over these things. If I could be up there with you, I would only tell the truth. And if it hurts like pulling the tooth, then it only hurts one time. I'd protect you from their lies, but the ones I'd tell would fly, circling up above our heads to feast on a love that's dead. With your body close to mine and my heart in your hand, if we're gonna die together, let's do it to the rhythm of the band. And I'll dance to your beating heart, and you'll dance on my grave. Just promise that you'll break my neck when you know I can't be saved from all these things. And all these things that keep me wide awake at night. All these things used to keep my tunnel bright. And now all these things just make me scared of getting old. 'Cause you're no longer here, and now all I have to hold are all these things. Thank you.
All right, so I have to ask in the audience, how many of you were at the Cactus Club shows on Sunday? Raise your hand. Awesome. Well done. And Carl, how did it feel that you had 2 sold-out shows at the Cactus Club? Milwaukee basically would have been having a parade down the streets welcoming you back. Did it feel good?
Yeah, it felt great. I didn't know what to expect. I was just planning on doing one show and then going on with my life, but Milwaukee came out and supported me, and yeah, it's a great feeling. It only took 30-something years, but it feels great, yeah. Thank you all, by the way.
Is there anything that you miss about Milwaukee? Is there some place that you would like to go eat at? Is there something that you must do every time that you're here? Is there something in your heart that Milwaukee holds?
I really like getting my car broken into, so that's nice. That's always good. A lot of the places that I like are gone, unfortunately. But I do enjoy. I'm not gonna lie, I eat at a lot of chain restaurants, so. But you know, Milwaukee is great.
All right. So you've toured. So you've been a hired gun for bands here in Milwaukee. You've toured as a duo. You've busked through Europe. You are now rolling solo. Do you have a favorite? Like, is there a plan in your head that you're just going to keep rolling solo, or do you want to put together a full band with horns and an organ and all of that excitement, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, if I'm lucky, I'll have quite a few years ahead of me to make music. Right now, my intention is to get all the ideas out of my head on my own and see what I'm capable of. And then further down the line, I would like to add more people to that. But right now, I'm trying to see what's going on in here. I'm pointing to my head.
Do you get more thoughtful that since you're touring around solo? Like, is it something that, because it's just you and yourself as you roll into the next town? Is it?
Well, if anybody who knows me knows that even if I'm traveling with 10 people, I'm going to act as if I'm by myself. So that doesn't make much difference.
Fair enough. All right, we do have some audience questions. So one of them, this comes from Lumpy. He was at the show at the Cactus Club, and he said, "Tell us about your vintage acoustic guitar that you played at the Cactus Club."
I don't have a vintage acoustic guitar. Thank you.
All right, Lumpy, sorry about that, buddy.
Well, I'm going to try to answer that one anyway. That guitar that I was playing first, it looks old, but it's not. There's a fellow in Michigan somewhere. He makes guitars. The company's called Mule Resonators. And he's been an early supporter of mine, and I play that instrument. It's a wonderful instrument. And then I play Recording King instruments as well, but none of them are more than like 2 years old. So.
That's a great answer. The other one was, how did you come to play the dobro?
That's this thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's just a guitar to me. I say, hey, that looks kind of cool, and I got it. I'm so sorry. I'm really crushing these answers today.
Well, we saw a little bit in the Sickbed Blues of because like when I remember first catching you live in Milwaukee, you were like one of the best shredders in the city, I thought, and like
I thought so too.
There's a little bit of that going on in that song, but
yeah, when I released my album, people were talking about my guitar playing, and somebody said that it was rickety. And I got really upset. I took it personally. so then I started playing really aggressively. Because I didn't want guitar playing to be the focus of my music as Buffalo Nichols. But I kind of had wrapped my identity in being a guitar player for so long that I don't know who I am if I'm not trying to show off.
Well, I recently read, I didn't know this before, that when you first started playing music, you were mostly into metal. Is that accurate?
Yeah, early on, as far as like the first bands that I played in, it was metal and hardcore punk and things like that.
Okay.
Wait, who were your metal and hardcore punk influences? Inquiring minds want to know.
Napalm Death was my favorite band, still one of my
Amazing.
favorites. Yes. And I was really into like Gojira and some other ones that I'm not so proud of, like Korn.
Is there gonna
No
be a
shame.
Exactly. Is there going to be a side project, Buffalo Nichols, the metal years?
No. I got that out of my system. I'm good. Well, mostly.
I believe Napalm Death's playing Milwaukee Metal Fest in May, just so you know, just throwing that out.
Oh, yeah. I went to I think the last Milwaukee Metal Fest. Well, I don't want to say anything about it, but it seems like they're coming back to their roots, and I'm looking forward to that.
Let's hope so.
Maybe you can set in. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, so this is another audience question. Where did your name, Buffalo Nichols, come from?
I don't answer that question.
That's fair.
That's not true. I've seen it answered.
That's why I don't answer.
Only one
I've
time.
done it enough.
Okay. Sorry, he only answers each question once. All right, well, maybe it's time for a couple more songs then.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
He's got in the middle of the ocean, got in the middle of the sea. By the help of the great creator, truly been a God to me. Well, he is God. And God don't never change. mountain said how great I am. Want you to get up this morning, skip around like a lamb where he's gone. And God don't ever change, hey, yeah. Always will be God. Time of creation, God when Adam fell, God way up in heaven, God way down in hell where he is. And God don't ever change, hey, yeah. Always will be God. In the time of influenza, God and the doctor too. In the time of your sickness, he truly been a God to you. He is. God don't ever change. Hey, yeah. Always will be God.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. You know, they say that dead air is bad for the radio, but one of my favorite things about WMSE is that sometimes I'll turn on the radio and there'll be absolutely nothing for like 7 seconds. That's police and crooks, and they're the same to me. That's why they say you'll either end up dead or in jail. They both wanna try you when you start living well.
question that I know too well. Will I die and go to heaven or keep living in hell? Live in hell, live in hell. Die and go to heaven. Live in hell, live in hell, live in hell. Die and go to heaven. Live in hell. Well, I never relax. I get too paranoid. I lost count of the people that I'm trying to avoid. And I still go to church, but it ain't to save myself, no. I just like to hear the stories about how you gon' burn in hell, burn in hell. So now I ask the question that I know too well. Will I die and go to heaven or keep living in hell? Live in hell, live in hell. Die and go to heaven. Live in hell, live in hell, live in hell. Die and go to heaven. Live in hell. I'm clinging to the memory of a bright and peaceful day, but I really don't remember that things ever were that way. But my troubles will be over, and one day I'll be set free from the chains around my neck, from this man-made misery. But until that day comes, I still live in hell, live in hell. Die and go to heaven. Live in hell, live in hell, live in hell. Will I die and go to heaven or live in hell?
Thank you.
Buffalo Nichols here on WMSE's Local Live, and I want to ask, what was it like touring with the Drive-By Truckers? You toured with them a few years ago.
It was great. Got to play a lot of places I'd never been before, and I got to play for a lot of people who didn't want to hear me play. That was good. That was a good experience. But you know, for the most part, I gained a pretty good fan base from them. They got a loyal fan base. Yeah, so it was cool.
Did you see like an uptick from playing with Drive-By Truckers? Because I feel like Drive-By Trucker fans would be Buffalo Nichols fans.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to tell because I toured with them for so long that you know, it was just a natural progression of my career was happening during the 2 months that I was on tour with them. But I'm sure it helped.
Were those like the biggest crowds you've played for, or were there bigger? Have there been like bigger festival?
Yeah, I've played some
Crowds.
big festivals since then. I played ACL Fest and Lollapalooza and some other ones. So I've played. Yeah, I've gotten to play for some good crowds.
A far cry from like touring around Europe with just your guitar, right?
Well, yeah, except, you know, every once in a while I get to play to 12 people.
You couldn't be bringing that pedal board around with you in Europe, though, really.
I could. I've done crazier things.
You've worked so hard to get where you're getting. Sorry, Kyle. You've worked so hard to get where you're going. Like you've toured on your own. You've done solo busking and everything else. Are there pearls of wisdom that you can give to musicians, to don't give up, or but something better than that are out there trying as hard as they can to connect with an audience?
Yeah, get a real job. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
But you don't feel the wave that's happening around you right now? You've been doing this for so long. You don't feel the excitement?
Well, the only way to do, I mean, I haven't been doing this for as long as some people, but I would have given up a long time ago if I was that concerned with, what notoriety or things like that. I made a decision a while ago that I was just going to try to make music and hope that people liked it. And if I had been looking for this moment for the last 15 years, I would have gone crazy.
Sure.
I don't want to be setting your sights too high, but the Grammys just happened a couple days ago, and I was looking at the list of winners, and in the blues category, we've got Taj Mahal and Ry Cooder for traditional blues album, and Edgar Winter for contemporary blues, which means the youngest winner in that category was 75 years old. What's your take on that?
That's right. Well, I guess I just gotta wait 40 years or so. Well, I don't know. I don't care for any of that stuff. I mean, if Beyonce can't win Album of the Year, I don't stand a chance in any category. But it is what it looks like. It's a pretty. Would you like to answer the question? It's a pretty conservative music genre. So everybody at the top has been there for literally 50 years, and they're not really very open to anybody new coming in. Like me, for example, they hate my guts.
No.
Yeah.
So I know you've got some dates coming up in the Midwest area this month, and then you've got some festival dates coming up in the spring and summer. Can you tell us what else is on tap for Buffalo Nichols the rest of this year and beyond?
Yeah, I'll be announcing some more tour dates around the country this week. I'm working on a new album that hopefully will be out this year.
Nice.
Yeah, and more of that.
Cool.
All right, I
We have
have
some
to
more audience
interrupt.
questions,
I do
right?
have
Yeah.
audience questions. Get ready. Hold on to yourself. What drew you back to the blues if you were playing metal and hardcore and stuff in the early days?
Well, it's complicated. I was always playing the blues, but it just took me a while to figure out how to do it, professionally and try to make some money off of it. But I'm one of those people that felt like I aged out of the extreme music because I got tired of being yelled at. Yeah.
Fair enough.
People don't throw bottles and stuff while you're playing the blues as much?
Not as much.
Where do you draw your inspiration from? Is songwriting is it a form or catharsis for you?
I think it says form of catharsis.
Oh, is songwriting a form of catharsis for you? Sorry.
Yeah, it is sometimes. Not all of my songs are literal personal stories, but I always try to put myself into whatever character or whatever perspective that I'm using to write the song. And I'd like to go back to an earlier question. That's one of the ways that you know if a song matters is if you feel that connection, like it matters to you, and that there's something inside of you that you've been able to express or haven't been able to express before, but then that song kind of helps it become, you can realize what you're actually feeling. That makes sense.
It does make sense. Do you get songs all the time? Like, is that one of those things where you're just walking down the street and you're like, oh, song, or do you have to sit down and actually actively work at it?
Yeah, I'm not really easily inspired just walking around. I mean, I am, but the inspiration usually is just I'm angry. A lot of things upset me. So if I want to just write a more a broader emotional landscape, I have to really sit down, and I'm kind of slow to write songs.
Do you have a title for your new album?
No. I'm taking suggestions later on.
WMSE Rocks, that's what it's going to be called.
Is this still going to be Fat Possum then, the next album?
Yeah, still working with Fat Possum, still trying to upset blues fans across the world.
Did you put the first album out on vinyl, or is that just a CD or digital?
Yes, it's out on vinyl.
Okay.
I actually was affected by the vinyl shortage of 2021 or whatever. I think Adele or Rihanna or something. That's what they blamed it on anyway. But yeah, my vinyl came a little bit after the album came out, but I got it.
I think that might be still ongoing, actually.
Yeah.
So. Well, is that all the audience questions?
That is
otherwise
all
it's
the
time
audience
for one
questions.
more song.
All right. Thank y'all for having me. This is good. Thank you all again. This is another song from my album called How to Love. I like to say that this is a song about forgiveness, but I want to make it clear that some things are unforgivable. But if you can find it in your heart, sometimes you gotta do it.
You know a pretty girl will make you do ugly things. Smoke cigarettes and buy diamond rings. I know I'm not a heartless man, but there's some things I hardly understand. There's one thing you did was good for me. You showed me things that I just couldn't see. Made me realize I do need love. And even though in the end I wasn't good enough, oh, the way you hurt me showed me how to love. The way you hurt me showed me how to love. I sold everything I had and bought a lie. There ain't a powder or a pill could ever get my hopes this high. But a life of sin that brought me to my knees. Love could have been the cure, but your love was a disease. And the way you hurt me showed me how to love. The way you hurt me showed me how to love. The way you hurt me showed me how to love. Oh, the way you hurt me showed me how to love. Well, I hardly recognize you anymore. It's been so many years since you walked out of the door. And now I see that you could hardly hurt a fly. The way you treated me was wrong, but I know the reason why. 'Cause the way they hurt you showed you how to love. The way they hurt you showed you how to love. The way they hurt you showed you how to love. Oh, the way they hurt you showed you how to love.
Thank you so much.
Buffalo Nichols, everybody.
Buffalo Nichols, everybody.
So, Carl, if people want to keep tabs on your tour dates and everything else that's going on in your world, what's the best way to keep tabs on you?
The internet is good. BuffaloNichols.com. I'm on Instagram. Buffalo Nichols Music, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. TikTok even. Wow, that's amazing. Yes, I'm on TikTok.
And a reminder for our listeners out there in Radio Land, that's Nichols, just so you know. Thanks so much for playing for us tonight. It's
Thank
been
you, anytime.
a great pleasure.
Seriously, this is going to be one of those shows where people are going to say, I saw him at Anodyne doing a radio show for WMSE. Thank you so much, Buffalo Nichols. It was amazing.
My pleasure. Thank you all for all the support.
All right, everybody. Tonight's edition of Local Live was broadcast and live streamed from Anodyne on Bruce and Walker's Point. Local Live is a production of 91.7 FM WMSE, produced by Sid and myself, audio and video engineering by Neverland Productions, all graphics by Rock Design, band hospitality by Transfer Pizza, and Local Live is presented by Third Space Brewing. You have your home, you have your work, but everyone needs a third space. Thanks again to Buffalo Nichols, and thanks to our audience who came out. You guys were great. Give yourselves another hand. We appreciate you coming out tonight.
Find upcoming guests and archives of past Local Live segments at WMSE.org. Tune in again next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for another in-studio session with musical guest, The Quills. It's Valentine's Day, and they're married, and it's going to be a beautiful session, so you should tune in. And stay tuned for more info about our next Live from Anodyne show on March 7th.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night.